Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello, we've made it halfway through the week. Happy Wednesday and welcome to Prime Time Local News. As always, we have a jam-packed show for you tonight. And Connor is filling in for both agriculture and sports. He's wearing both hats tonight. And so he'll be talking Lakeland Rustlers in sports and then some mental health for our farmers.
Yeah, so with sports, the women's volleyball teams get their preseason underway. So they had a little tournament here in the city to get them kind of ready to go for the year. And then in agriculture, you know, the mental health of farmers is very important because the suicide rates are very high with that profession. So we get a closer look at that, is how they look to deal with that.
Great. Thank you so much, Connor. Looking forward to that. But first, we're going to toss it over to Stacy for our local news.
Thank you, Michaela. Lloydminster's curbside recycling program will soon be changing. China is no longer going to be accepting certain plastics for reuse. Brittany Matika has more.
Yogurt and margarine containers used to be able to be recycled in the border city. Now, any products with the numbers listed 3 to 7 on the bottom will not qualify for recycling.
This is going to be a bit of a challenge for the city. We're working with our contractor. We need to educate the community that we will have to not be able to put those plastics that we traditionally have. People have done a great job recycling. Now there's no home for it today.
China deals with a variety of plastic recycling. However, they will no longer be accepting that range. In Lloydminster, 3 through 7 plastics make up approximately 2.5% of all recyclables collected.
I'm afraid they'll have to go to the landfill for now. Certainly that was raised in GPC by the committee. What could we look for alternate options? So we will be challenging administration to see if there is any possibilities, but currently what we expect to go with. So it's going to add about 20 tons a year.
Municipalities across Canada are being faced with the same challenge. Mayor Albers says they are hoping an alternate solution can be found.
Ask city administration to do a little bit more work to see if there is another home that we can look for. We've also got some discussions ongoing with the folks in the contractor that looks after our recycling program that we're going to have to make some adjustments.
Mayor Albers says they are hoping to have some options for those rejected plastics at a city council meeting in the near future. Brittany Matika, Primetime Local News.
Lloydminster's health amenities were in bloom this summer thanks to Blooms for Healthcare. While the gardening season is over, their work is not quite done. Brendan Collins reports.
Lunch was served at the Blooms for Healthcare open house hosted by the Lloydminster Hospital, celebrating the group's efforts this summer.
Really organized, had lots of volunteer help, got the flowers in early at every facility, and got rain at the right time. So things were looking gorgeous. I think they would agree they had a really successful year, and we're definitely happy with how it went.
Many dignitaries were present, including Mayor Albers, MLAs Richard Stark and Colleen Young, to appreciate Lloydminster Hospital staff and volunteerism.
A very positive thing for our community. Having people such as Ed and Dawn step up to ensure that our facilities are inviting, welcoming, and provide a positive feeling and atmosphere for people when they enter is absolutely amazing.
Blooms for Healthcare, a volunteer initiative partnering with local health organizations to help spruce up health facilities using fresh flower gardens, all to make the atmosphere a bit nicer.
And it's in the last 2 years that we've had a definite focus on changing all the landscape and all the health facilities in Lloydminster.
A task that's not always easy. Old growth material is hard to remove and culture into a more desirable foliage, but it's a challenge they're looking forward to.
We're very happy with the success that we've had this year and only hope to progress on that.
Flower beds will be cleared at the end of the month to return this spring. For Primetime Local News, I'm Brendan Collins.
Right now, minimum wage in Alberta is $13.60. It's jumping up to $15 October 1st. That has small business owners furious. Justin Marshall has the story.
Stacy, we're here at Jenny's Diner in Bonnyville, where on October 1st, minimum wage is going up to $15. And Jenny Hamel joins me now. How's this going to affect your business as a small business owner?
It's like anything. It's an expense that we need to incur, and we'll take it in stride. Do I like it? No, but we don't know how it's going to affect us as a whole, right? We have to wait and see. It'll take time to see where our minimum wage goes, where our employees go, you know, whether or not we keep as many as we have, if we let some go. That's really what it's going to boil down to. But it'll be a time frame to see where our expenses go and where minimum wage takes us.
A lot of small business owners were upset because there was a lot of lack of consultation. Like, you guys were never asked what you thought. Were you disappointed about that?
I don't think as a small business owner we get a lot of input on anything. Most people think that when you're a business owner, you just make money, hand over fist, right? Nobody thinks anything differently. So yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, no, did Mrs. Notley come and visit me and say, hey, what do you think? No, we're not going to get that. We belong to groups where we get to voice our opinion and they then take it to the government. But again, you know, it's a small percentage of us that get to say anything, and whether or not it actually reaches the ears that it needs to reach, it's hard to say.
Well, a lot of businesses going to be affected starting October 1st for primetime local news. I'm Justin Marshall.
A group of students at Winston Churchill School are getting their teaching credentials through coding. And as our Brett Holden explains in this week's Beyond the Classroom, this may be something Lloydminster Public School Division is hoping to add to all schools.
Coding is a form of a computer language that is used to develop apps and websites, but students at Winston Churchill School are using it as a teaching tool.
Over the past few years, we've really made a push for coding, and this is one of the schools where they've decided that all students of all grades will do some style of coding. So it might be some smaller robots, it might be hour of code on the computer, robots, those kinds of things.
Students go through classes and receive badges as they accomplish different aspects of coding. When students reach a certain level, they can become teachers to other students.
So this year at Winston, we're piloting a program called LPSD Tech Force, and it fit with their school goal of leadership. And so what the kids can do is they take a look at what they're interested in. So it might be a robot, it might be hour of code. And what they do is they complete a program of study on that. It's independent, but they can work with other students on it.
And having the students teach each other is something the school loves to see.
It's important. These kids take the leadership role really serious. In fact, we had one of the boys ask today if he could put us on his resume. So he's in grade 6, right? And he's already thinking long term. So it's important. They take it really serious, and they've earned it. They've put in the work.
Definitely, just like when you're bored and you're home alone, and so you can just get on coding and just have a little bit of fun, because it also helps your brain.
LPSD is hoping to extend this to all schools in the division. Brett Holden, Primetime Local News.
Beyond the Classroom is brought to you by Lakeland College. Apply to the hairstyling program and take the lead working with clients in the on-campus salon. Lakeland College, leading learning since 1913.
And Brittany is down at the Root tonight. Let's see what she's doing down there.
And I'm joined now by Luke Russell, who is one of the 11 committee members that was selected to sit on the DARP committee, the Downtown Area Redevelopment Plan. So now you met today for the first time.
Yes, we did.
And how was that first interaction with those 11 very different individuals?
You know, it was a very important process because we got different business owners, we've got building owners, we've got even members of the public. So it's really great to have so we can get to know each other so we can get this kind of process started.
And now you yourself, what is your vested interest in the board?
Well, just being an advocate for the public, you know, trying to get people's voices, get opinions in, and also take those ideas forward to the contractors and stuff. So yes.
And so we are at the Root right now for an open house regarding our downtown. So what kinds of ideas do you yourself have that we could maybe see to improve it down here?
Well, you know, downtown should be the heart of a community. So I'm hoping to see, you know, maybe some more green space, some more stores downtown, even a rooftop garden would be fantastic in my opinion, and also maybe incorporate some cycling capabilities for people as well, because there's not really much options for that. So that's what I would like to see.
And how long are we hoping that we'll finally start to put this plan into motion?
Well, it is a long process, of course, and I believe by about May of 2019 is when we're going to start seeing things roll out, because I said there's a lot of meetings we're going to have to do, a lot of information we're going to have to gather for that to go forward. So.
And now tonight we are down here at the Root until 8 p.m. Anyone is welcome to come out. And what are you hoping to hear from residents?
Just honestly, opinions in general. We need community involvement. We need all demographics of people to come down, because without the public, this isn't going to happen. So we said we need everyone's involvement. So please do come down and give us your input.
Perfect. Well, thanks for all that information, Luke. And we're going to have more from downtown all evening throughout our broadcast. But right now, we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with Michaela to see what's going on in this week's forecast.
All right. Thank you, Brittany. I have some good news. The snow should hold off at least until tomorrow night. That's my only good news, unfortunately. Currently sitting at 12, we did reach the double digits today, which we haven't in quite some time, so it was a nice change. Records for this time of the year, 25 degrees. That would be nice, but unfortunately, we're probably not going to see that again this year, at least. Here's our satellite radar from the last few hours. Not a whole lot of activity, mostly just some cloud cover, which is going to continue into the next few days. Looking at our numbers across the region, North Battleford currently sitting at 13. Overnight's going to go down to 1 degree, and tomorrow, chance of rain and a high of 11 degrees there. In Cold Lake, currently sitting at 9 degrees. Cloud cover is going to continue overnight, and tomorrow that is going to turn into some precipitation for a high of 8 in Cold Lake. And then Lloydminster, like I said, currently sitting at 12 degrees, going to an overnight low of 2 degrees. And then tomorrow, same story, rainy, cloud cover with 11 degrees as our high. Here's a look at our overnight lows. So across the region, the normal low for this time of the year should be 3 degrees. As you can see, only really Provost and Wainwright are hitting that number. Going to hit -1 in Meadow Lake. Isla Cross going to 0, same within Pearson and Paradise Hill. Bonnyville also going to have a 0 overnight, and Unity sitting at 1, same with Murnum. And so those numbers are quite below the average, but we are not currently in a frost advisory. That did get lifted around 3:30 this morning, luckily. So we look at the next 3 days. Tomorrow we have a 49% chance of precipitation. That snow should hold off until at least the evening, and then that's when that rain-snow activity is going to start. 70% chance of precipitation. That's a rain-snow mix on Friday. High of 2, -1 for the low there. And Saturday, same trend. That's going to continue into the weekend. 2 degrees there and -4 for the low. I will have more details, including your 7-day forecast, coming up later in the show.
Turning to some agriculture news, Alberta Suicide Prevention Resource Centre says at least 1 person dies by suicide every day, and 75% of those people are men. With harvest stalled in the Midwest, Gerard Lampout gets some mental health support from area producers.
As farmers assess the weather and wait for improvement, they could be swamped not just by the unwelcomed rains, but also the stress of watching their livelihood sitting in a field and not being able to get at it.
Farming, it's an amazing industry, but our challenges are quite unique. Weather, market, financial stress can take a toll. So someone's support network might be within their community, but it also could be online if they are isolated or not close to town.
Leslie Kelly, who farms in the Watrous area, pitches in with the group Do More Ag as farmers look for ways to support each other. Their industry has one of the highest rates of suicide of any profession.
Farming is around the world, so I've also heard of people using online support groups and those from all over the world, because our challenges are different, but they're also unique within ag, and no one knows a farmer like another farmer.
Kelly is encouraging her farming peers who might be struggling with their mental health as the weight of their soaked canola is upon them.
I would say look for signs and symptoms of someone having a mental health crisis. If they are, be there for them and try to let them know of professional services available, but also just be willing to either lend a hand to, or lend an ear to listen, or tell someone, show them that you are having a hard time, and that can mean so much to someone to help them through this.
Do More Ag was launched in January and is now offering a mental health first aid program starting with 12 communities across Canada.
So that mental health first aid really helps to build confidence and tools within our communities. So we're working on that. And another thing that we're going to be launching here in the late fall is an awareness campaign that showcases the barriers around our language and how we can overcome them. So an awareness campaign of what mental health is and how we can overcome some of those barriers and stigmas.
For more information, you can visit their website, Do More Ag. Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
The Saskatchewan government says chronic wasting disease has now been confirmed in more than half of the province's 83 wildlife management zones. The disease was first detected in Canada on a Saskatchewan elk farm in 1996. It's fatal to deer, moose, and elk and has been spreading to wild animals. No human case has ever been identified, but officials say any animal tested and found to have CWD should not be eaten. Hunters are being asked to turn in the heads of harvested animals for free disease testing. Currently, CWD has been reported on one elk farm in Saskatchewan. Well, that's it for your agriculture news. Sports is next, but first, here's your ag prices.
City Center Auto Body is proud to offer the paintless dent removal system. This works by going behind the panel, working out small dents. Lloydminster's trusted auto body shop for over 35 years.
Well, over the weekend, the Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball team got their first taste of game action since winning national bronze back in March. Heading into their annual home preseason tournament, the squad is laying the groundwork for undertaking something few programs in the ACAC have ever accomplished, winning a third straight championship. Josh Ryan has more.
For college volleyball teams, September is usually spent re-establishing good habits and getting rid of rust. However, that hasn't been the case with Austin Dyer's squad, who are itching to get back to the national stage.
The veteran group has come back, and we're training at a really high level already. And I think just being as old as we are, they've come in and they're already looking for preseason to be over because they're ready to compete and they're ready to go.
The Rustlers return all but 5 players from last year's conference championship roster and boast 3 fifth-years in All-Canadian setter Ray Sigurdsson and All-Star outsides Shelby Becker and Annika Koos. Having experienced ups and downs over 4 years together, has prepared the trio to take on leadership roles this season.
We definitely know how to deal with each other, and then it's learning to deal with the new people that come onto the floor. But we're old enough now that we know that everybody's different. Everyone has things that they need, things that they don't need.
Losing 2 of the top middle blockers in the country means the Rustlers will lack size and experience at the position. But Dyer believes that veterans Brooklyn Boehm and Avery Maginal, the latter who transitions from right side, are up to the task.
I think we're going to be a very physical offensive team. It's just going to be a matter of being able to spread the ball and making sure that everybody keeps the ball in play and makes good choices.
Another piece to this year's puzzle is depth, which is contributing to the quality of practice.
We do a lot of split squad, but even when we go into our A side and our B side, they always push us, and we all push each other every day, and that's something that Austin really tells us to do every single day when we get into the gym.
This weekend's home tournament will allow every player a chance to prove themselves on the floor, but come October, that lineup will quickly shrink.
The players that compete the hardest to win are the ones that are going to get the play. And at the end of the day, everybody on the team has to be okay with that because those are the people that have earned it.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
And that's it for sports. Let's send it back to Brittany at the Root.
I'm joined now by Councillor Stephanie Monroe, and we were just discussing how today was the first day Council met for this new committee.
It was, and it was a exciting meeting, a great kickoff. I think everybody left there feeling revitalized and really like they were going to be able to make a difference in this plan. So super exciting.
So now there's 11 different individuals. You are the lone councillor on the committee. Speak a little bit about the diversity that's in that group.
So as far as diversity, we have people from arts and culture, we have business owners, we have property owners, we have people from like myself on council, as well as obviously the committee from O2 Design. And it's just a great array of people coming from all aspects, and really everyone just wants to see the downtown thrive.
Definitely. They say your downtown is the heart of your community. So what kinds of things are you hoping that we're going to be able to do?
I really want to see people just come to the downtown. I want to interact with people for this advisory committee to see what's going to bring you to our community, what's going to make you spend 5 hours downtown, what's going to make you walk 3 blocks to come downtown versus just going down to the larger box stores. I want to know from not only business owners, but from the rest of the community, what's going to draw you into the downtown. And really, our downtown is the heart of our community, and so we need to keep that alive. Seeing so many businesses actually leaving the downtown in the last very few recent, up until today actually, it's shows us more than ever what we need to do to bring businesses back into our downtown.
So now we're at this open house here at the Root. What are we hearing from people who are coming through the doors?
You know, we're hearing a mixed array of things. More restaurants, more coffee shops, milkshakes, microbreweries, rooftop patios, parks, green spaces, wider sidewalks, less traffic, more parking, just a vast array of so many things. Lower rental leases, shorter rental leases, so that people can make less of a commitment if the money isn't there for the economy. So there really are so many different avenues that we really need to explore. And I am telling everybody on the advisory committee and everybody giving us input, you know, that the sky is the limit on this. We can give all of our ideas, and that's what we're here for, is for advice. And from there, the plan will be made. And from there, it will be implemented and then presented to council. That's what the designers are here for. They just want to hear our ideas. They want to hear our input, but they're the ones that are going to be doing the real groundwork and the design of the final product.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. We're going to have more coming up from down here later on in the show, but right now we're just going to check in with Michaela to see what's going on in the forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Brittany. Look at this beautiful fall shot we got sent in by Joshua. Beautiful fall trees looking there. If you have any photos that you want to send in of the weather, do send those to our primetime news our primetime local news accounts over on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or by email. We'd love to showcase those. I just want to show this watches and warnings. We are now currently into a frost advisory. All of the areas in blue, so Vegreville, Marwayne, Wainwright, all the way into Meadow Lake, Green Lake. Everyone except a little bit down to the south didn't get the frost advisory, but it could be coming. So do cover up your plants, and farmers, get those crops in the bin because it is not looking like it's going to go away. It's currently sitting at 12 here, 11 in Vermilion, pretty much same. Oh, Kearsland just changed to 12. Edmonton sitting at 13 degrees. Pretty much the same story across the board. 11 in Peace River, 12 in Grand Prairie, 11 in Slave Lake. A little bit warmer as we move into Saskatchewan, sitting at 7 in La Ronge. And then we move a little bit more across the board. 14 in Jasper, one of the warmer spots here. Same in Saskatoon, and then Melfort sitting at 12 degrees. Move a little bit over, we have Banff sitting at 13, 12 in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat. A little bit warmer, of course, at 14. And then as we look to the next 24 hours, there's that cloud cover and that bit of precipitation that's going to be coming over the next 24 hours. We shouldn't see it hit the area until overnight, but then that overnight is going to turn into a rain-snow mix. Going to tomorrow, we're going to be sitting at a high of only 10 degrees in your school day forecast. 4 degrees when you wake up at 8 a.m. and catch the school bus. Recess, 6 degrees, a little bit warmer at lunchtime. And then home time, 10 degrees. And a quick regional overview here. Not dropping to below the freezing mark. A couple of zeros in Cold Lake and Bonnyville. But that frost advisory is in effect. Friday is when we're going to see that precipitation. That's a wet rain-snow mix moving into Saturday. Going to continue on Sunday, but look at that. We are warming back up for Monday at 10 degrees. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
And I'm joined by one of the planners who's working on building our downtown, Andrew. We're seeing lots of people through the door tonight, and you've worked on a few different downtown projects, isn't that correct?
Yeah, we've been involved in downtown plans in Halifax, Okotoks, High River. We've done work in Airdrie, so all through Alberta and increasingly across the country.
And what kinds of things have you been able to, really help revitalize and just give downtowns a boost?
Well, I mean, part of the interesting things are really how you treat your streets, how you treat your public spaces. High River, we've created what's called a Woonerf Street, which is the ability to close it down for public events. It's been really great looking at incubator spaces for small businesses. There's a whole bunch of different techniques and tools out there that can be really, really effective in creating an energy and a sense of community and really building up your downtown.
And now, what about Lloydminster specifically? Is there anything that you have in mind that you're hoping we can institute here?
I mean, everything's on the table right now. I mean, this really is sort of that public kickoff, and we just want to hear from everybody, their creative ideas. Part of a successful plan is not having any sort of preset notions of what success looks like. So, the public input is so critical.
And now, are we really looking for sky's the limit? Any suggestions?
I would say at this point, let's just hear it. Absolutely. Obviously, the more sort of thoughtful and grounded an idea is, the more likely that it'll gain some traction. But I'd love to hear anything.
So until tonight, 8 p.m., people can come down. They can speak with yourself. They can also speak with a variety of committee members, voice their opinions. And so we really would like to encourage everybody to come down and make their voice heard. But right now, we're just going to head back over to the studio, and we're going to check in with Michaela to find out what's going on in social media.
All right, well, in social media yesterday, we touched on it a little bit. Bert and Ernie, a writer from Sesame Street, announced that the couple was in fact a gay couple. And then Sesame Street then released a statement saying, no, they're not. That's, they're puppets. They don't have a sexual orientation. So that was our question of the day today. We wanted to know, should sexual orientation just be completely left out from children's programming? And I just want to read a comment we got on Facebook. This one is from Pat. She says, why do they have to be anything but puppets that are on a kid's show? Why do we have to question everything that comes up? Kids should be able to watch show and enjoy it without worrying about anything and just enjoying the show. And then, of course, Sesame Street did say they're puppets. They don't have a sexual orientation. So, but I did see some comments that saying, well, Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog are in a relation, or they used to be. Sorry, they had a public breakup. But it just comes to the question. It's just, where do we draw the line? Are we allowed to explore a relationship between a man and a woman, or it's just because it was two men that they shouldn't have a sexual orientation?
Well, in going back to the Sesame Street, they introduced a character that had autism. I think that's a great way to introduce kids to people that kids can relate to, that kids do have autism can relate to. In this case, with what you're saying, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they should have an orientation. But they don't obviously need to publicize it as much as that, but keep it subtle in a sense, they can relate to if they're going through something, they can relate to that. So
it's definitely an interesting conversation, and you still have time to weigh in on our Primetime Local News Facebook page. So do go and head over there and send us some comments on your thoughts. But now we're going to get to our pets of the day. It's my favorite part of the show. We have 5 amazing animals that we have, and if we could just throw those up, there we go. This is Charlie and Ron, and this was sent in by Audra, and Audra says they are best friends even though they're cats and dogs. And then this one is Luna, very cute. I know Luna's a senior, girls, but she's a good girl. Yeah, that was sent in by Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron. This is Daisy, May, and Buddy, and they're checking out their little kittens over on the farm. That was sent in by Vicky. And then this is Rex. Rex looks so cute. Looks like he just got a haircut there, and that was sent in by Alta. And this is Coconut. Coconut was having a photo shoot. It's super cute, and that was sent in by Lacey. Of course, if you have any photos of your animals that you want to send us, do so on our Facebook page or email, or just send us a message. We'd love to showcase them. But right now, we're going to take another quick break.
Hey Lakeland, Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 here at Walsh Field around Scott Park, because on Saturday, the 9th annual Scott McDonald Memorial Football Games happening at 2:30. I'm joined with Rhonda Kurek. She is with Bonnyville Minor Football. Who was Scott McDonald?
Scott McDonald was a former Voyager player. He was diagnosed with cancer shortly after he graduated. And one of the friends, his name, I never met him, but his name was Tyler Jan. And in about 2009, he went around and thought, to honor Scott, and one of his desires was to see the kids in the stallery that didn't have much, because you can't have a whole whack of devices to pass along to the kids in there because of germs and different other reasons. He wanted to raise funds, or he wanted to see the kids have it. So this kid, that's how Scott McDonald Memorial started, so that the head shaves and silent auctions, the monies would go to help kids that were being treated with cancer that needed things.
One of the things that I really want to talk about, 10 grand on the line. You printed 2,000 tickets. You don't have many left. Do you have at least 2? Because I won't.
That sure, I'll sell you 2 tickets.
Awesome. So these are the winners, right? 10 grand in my pocket.
I have family members think they have winning tickets as well.
And then at the silent auction, you have a great football to tell me about.
Yes, we have a football that was donated. Actually got taken to the Edmonton Eskimo locker room. and all of them signed it, and so we have that to auction off.
If you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, please email Justin at 1013coolfm.com.